This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. Not long to go before our drivers hurtle off the line and into the first turn, the Niki Lauda curve. It was renamed in 2019 in memory of one of Formula One's most beloved figures. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of Turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Surfer Boy, Hamilton, George Russell and Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Ricciardo, Verstappen and Yuki Tsunoda, Bottas, Albon, Pierre Gasly and Stroll, Vettel, Latifi, Richard Verschoor and Esteban Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Joe, Perez and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for today's race. Let's have a chat about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Welcome to Driving Immersion for the immersive racing experience. Up ahead, a full race at the Austrian Grand Prix with no assist and driven from the cockpit. Stick around for the car setup and pit strategy for the race.
Okay, so let's go through all the gears if you can. We need to make sure the engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool though, so don't go too high with the revs.
So through turn 1, a very sharp right-hander, we go down the first straight here, which is our first DRS zone. And that is going to take us through turn 2, which is this very wide kink to the left. Turn 3, a very slow right-hander. Going to bring that down to second gear as we struggle for grip uphill through our second DRS zone.
Stable at the moment, no rain currently expected.
Down to turn 4, another very sharp right-hander. And that is going to be downhill with positive camber at the exit. As we accelerate out, again we will be struggling for grip down to turn 5. Turn 6 here to the left, and we're going to let the car wind all the way out to the right. Turn 7, another left-hander as we prepare the exit out of turn 8 to the right. Downhill and right turn through turn 9. And turn 10 here, another right-hander onto the main straight.
Okay, good parking there, mate. Now we need to make sure we get a great launch as the race starts. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.
Lights out, so off we go, and we are starting from third place this time. And just as usual, a lot of tire smoke from the number 66, and you can see here that we get swamped by a couple of Mercedes, Ferraris, and another McLaren just beside us. Right there on turn 1, you can see that the Mercedes of George Russell has broken his wing in a collision with his teammate. So he's starting to fade back a little bit into the hands of one of the McLarens. And riding
Right,
with the
let's
66,
focus now for the rest of the race.
that is George Russell with a damaged wing right in front of us. And he's actually going at a pretty good speed. We do expect that he should come in for a wing change after just one lap. There he is into the pit entrance. And you can see here that he lost the end flap on the right-hand side. So there's the crew with a set of tires, and I believe he is going from the yellows to the reds and a new wing. So this will give him a little bit more speed as he laps. Now back on board with the 66 in 6th place, lap number 2. Down to the right-hander of turn 4. Again, a very slow corner. Turn 5 here to the right, just under the billboard. Turn 6 here to the left. Another left-hander for turn 7. Turn 8. And again, downhill through turn 9, which is just a right-hand sweeper. Turn 10. Again, opening to the main straight. Riding on board with Max Verstappen just behind the number 66. He is in 7th place. So the inside curb of turn 1 is very high, and if you exit out too wide, you will damage your under tray on the curb on the outside of turn 1. So there's also a curb on the outside of turn 3 that will damage your underside. Turn 6. Turn 9, turn 10, onto the DRS zone along the main straight.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 6.4 seconds.
Very tall curb again on the inside of turn 1. First DRS zone, turn 2 here to the left.
Okay, gap to the car ahead is 2.1 seconds.
Turn 3. So the onboard shows that we have lost a gear. And coming out of turn 3, there was no second gear.
Okay, bad news on the gearbox, I'm afraid. The team are trying everything they can think of, but they're not optimistic. Just keep at it, do your best, that's all we can ask.
So lap 4, we are in P6, coming in through turn 10. At this point, we have no second gear, but we're only using it in 1 or 2 corners. That is Max Verstappen trailing behind. He's giving it a good look.
Second gear.
So Max Verstappen just behind, giving us a good challenge as we come out of the slow corners. and we are struggling without second gear. So turn one just fast enough so that we don't have to use second gear. We have Max Verstappen very close behind. And there he is just on our right hand side. He's going to push us out. And there is the very high curb of turn 3. And that will slow us down, as you can see here that he was able to get around. Coming through turn 10 under the toe of Max Verstappen along the main straight. We have our DRS activated and we're using the ERS.
Yellow flag.
Now there are car parts on the left.
Slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast.
And we are under
Okay, information on sights.
safety
okay,
car.
Out of this race.
Looks like there was a scramble amongst the 3 cars just ahead of us here. And Carlos Sainz has damaged his car beyond repair. So he is out of the race. So now let's talk about setup, and this is our setup for this race. It is going to rain, and here in Austria we've had a couple of experiences in the rain in the practice sessions. You can run very fast laps at 4 and 8, so 4 in the front, 8 in the back. But in the rain we decided to double that just to have more grip. For the suspension, the preset was 10 and 10 with the front suspension and front anti-roll bars and nothing on the rear whatsoever. And we changed that up a little bit so the car has a little bit better balance. So we reduced the front suspension down a little bit, just 1 notch to be softer. Again, we could have probably done more for the rain. For the anti-roll bar in the front, we brought that down to 8, so it's a little bit softer so that when we are hard braking in the rain, we're not as likely to lock up. And you can see here that we did put some more stiffness in the rear so that when you accelerate hard out of 1 and 3, you're able to plant the rear tires into the tarmac. And we didn't do anything with the ride height as the car was doing well. We don't expect that we'll be riding on the curbs too often. And for the camber and toe settings, we left that alone as the car was doing pretty well. We didn't recognize any weird tire wear coming out of the turns and driving through the track, so we pretty much left these settings alone. You can see here that it's -3 and -1.5 for the camber, and again we left the toe alone. And here's our setup for the tire pressures. They were actually pretty low, a couple of pounds less than this. And what we did was we added more air just to make the tires a little bit more responsive on the asphalt or the tarmac. And it may or may not affect us too much in the rain, so we didn't go crazy on adding too much more. But as soft as they were, once the car tires heated up, we didn't have as much traction as we did when they were relatively cool. So again, we just added more air, just a couple of pounds. Now here for the differential setting, we just left it alone as we will be adjusting that through the race. Again, it's going to vary depending on the weather condition in the tire conditions, so we will make adjustments on the fly. In fact, for the on throttle, we did reduce that so that we can accelerate out a little bit sooner by leaving it a little bit more wide open or unlocked. So we bring that down to about 65 or 70 in the race. And the off throttle, we pretty much left that. There is a lot of trail braking here, but the more open it is, it's going to be easier to brake.
Again. The safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember there's no overtaking until the timing line. Safety car in this lap.
So here we go back to racing. You can see that after 9 laps, we are in 6th place. So a little bit further back than when we started the race, but it's still a long race to go. And again, we are still waiting for the weather at this point. You can see the light board on the very right of the screen that the safety car is going off track, so we will be going under green once we cross the start-finish line here.
We've got a lot of spare energy. Okay to use your overtake button.
So going through the HUD, you can see there that our gearbox is having problems. And at lap 9, we had already lost one of the gears. In Formula 1, the games, the transmission does come back, even under simulation settings, so it never completely blows up. So you will be able to finish the race. You'll just have to struggle just in short term with the problem that it has, because it will always correct itself. And we've had problems with the transmission in several races already. Simply just losing a gear, but eventually it comes back, sometimes within 4 or 5 laps or 6 laps, but it's never for the entire race. And I think it was for the entire race, we probably just parked the car. So riding with Valtteri Bottas behind the 66 just up ahead. He is losing ground a little bit. So lap 11 after a lengthy safety car period. Again, we are in 6th place. Riding on board now, watching the 66 just behind. So now a little tidbit about our strategy for the race. We do expect rain after the halfway point.
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled.
And we have no indication, of course, on how heavy the rain's going to be. We just know that it is coming. In the settings, we have the weather forecast set to perfect, so when it says it will rain, it will definitely rain. It may not always be on time, but it will rain. So here we are, cutting through the Red Bull and the McLaren. And I believe that is Max Verstappen's Red Bull, and that was the McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo. So up to 4th place. It will take a couple of laps to get these hard tires back up to temp, of course. And you can see there that as they got warmed up, we were able to get by the Red Bull and the McLaren. Now you got to look at our wing downforce setup, and you can tell it's still pretty low considering it will rain. So it's very possible that these other cars have higher downforce, and we'll see how they do when once the rain comes. turn 1.
Richard's in the pits. Richard is in the pit lane now.
So as it is lap 13, it's possible that if you did start off with the softs or the red tires to start the race, they would be wearing just about now, and would be a good time to come in and change out. And I believe that was the strategy of my teammate in the other driving immersion. So just up ahead, Lewis Hamilton and Leclerc also on the medium tires. And I believe on the mediums you should be somewhere in the 24 to 30 lap range. So the tidbit on our strategy here is to start off in the hard tires. Again, we don't know when the rain's coming exactly, but it will come. So what we're trying to do here is try to reduce the amount of pit stops, of course, because it loses time on the track. So we opted to start with the hard tires as they will last longer. Hopefully these tires, if it does rain, will go into lap 30. And that will prevent us from having to come in and change out of, let's say, the reds or the yellows if we started on either of those sets. But we know that we will be changing out of whatever tires we started out of. So further into the race or further into the rain, the better. Looking behind as we are racing with Max Verstappen. He does have a set of the medium tires, so he should have a little bit more grip. And you can see here that he is able to stay with us just under our wing. And he is going to be giving us a challenge the more laps that we do. He's got his DRS open, and we have no car in front of us to allow us a DRS. He looks on the outside, just not enough room. Again, that turn 4 is a downhill braking right turn. The camber does spike up a little bit as you exit, so that's a little bit of a help. But getting into the turn, you have to kind of brake a little bit earlier. Again, as it is downhill. Downhill 2 is turn 9. Somebody coming in. And I believe that was Lando Norris. As you can see in the timing here that he slips down. So the two cars ahead are Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. Turn 3, very slow right-hander. Turn 7, turn 8. Lap 17, the number 66 is in 3rd place. Max Verstappen in tow in 4th place. And you can see here the timing that Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari has retired for the race. So there's a race between the Ferrari and the Mercedes just up ahead. And that is going to help slow them down a little bit. As you can see, we're getting a little bit closer as we lap. 1.2 seconds behind. In the toe of the Ferrari now. Coming down to turn 1, just not enough room, not close enough. So you got to look there. Our acceleration out of turn 1's not too bad. Still with Max Verstappen very close in tow. Through turn 8. Having a good look at the Ferrari as we have DRS available to us now. Coming down to turn 4, he got a very good start coming out of turn 3. Turn 6, very wide into the gravel. And we're able to hold Max Verstappen back. Turn 9. Just close enough to activate DRS as we are still racing with Max Verstappen just behind. Out of turn 3. Very good jump here on the Ferrari. DRS activated. We get just underneath before we come into turn 1. Swing very wide out into the apron. And we're going to be able to stay ahead of the Ferrari and Max Verstappen just behind. Big lock up there from the Ferrari. He's got a very good toe coming into turn 4, but he is on the outside.
understeering now.
Looking back at Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, he was very close just a few corners ago, very racy. So we pull out a little bit more room here as we have lower downforce. Enjoying the race? Don't forget to give us a like or a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more racing ahead. Very wide, coming into turn 6. The Ferrari is back under our wing.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from rain now. I'll keep you updated as conditions change.
So looking at the skies, I would consider this overcast.
The car behind.
And it is lap 23, so the rain is coming. It should be here by lap 35, according to the weather forecast. And if the rain should happen to start falling at lap 35 or even 36, that is right around where the end of these hard white tires are going to be. So that would make for perfect timing. Looking at the lower right hand of the screen here, you can see in the HUD that our engine indicator is orange, so that would be equivalent to check engine light, I guess, in a road car. Oh, a lot of things going on here with the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. Can't quite tell if there was a collision. His car looks to be in good shape. He was a little bit out of shape coming in. And that pushed us out on over to the outside curb.
Ferrari moving after that.
So we're looking for any damage on his car, and there's nothing indicated. All the wing end flaps are still there. Let's see here if he will come in. Nope, he's still lapping. So should be no damage to Charles Leclerc. Definitely overcast now as we continue to struggle for grip out of turn 3. You heard a little bit there that the rear tires had lost traction and the engine rev went up just abruptly. Turn 5 to the right. Turn 6 here, and we're going to keep this one nice and clean. out to the curves on the right. Now turn 8 here to the right is actually a bit of a tricky exit as we accelerate out. That is the reason why you're going to want 1 or 2 notches more on your rear wing. As we found out in the dry session in practice when we had 3 and 8 for the rear wing.
Okay, I think we're still on the right tyres for the time being.
Well, there's the first raindrops on the screen, and it is lap 26. So these tires should still be in very good racing condition, and of course the conditions are just about to change.
Richard's coming in for his stop.
On board with Max Verstappen behind his 66.
There's our teammate coming out of the pits. We lose a little bit of momentum staying behind him. And you can see here that Max got around both of us. Coming into turn 3. So lap 27, just behind Max Verstappen. We are in 3rd place, and the rain starts to fall.
Okay, even though we're seeing cars start to struggle in these conditions, if we pit for inters now, we're going to be too slow and we'll burn them out. Make the best of it for the time being. Okay, track conditions aren't improving. It's your choice as to whether you want to fit full wets next time you come in.
So that was the hint from the pit.
Okay, the stewards have now disabled DRS. DRS is now disabled.
From the pit box to put on wet tires instead of intermediates. However, they keep proposing changing strategy, and somewhere along the line we got the messages crossed up. So we'll wait to see what kind of tires they put on once we come in to change. It's now lap 28. We've had a couple of laps already in the drizzle.
Still out there?
So lap 29 now, and you can see we did get around Max Verstappen. He is still on a set of yellows, and at lap 29 there will certainly be fading as far as grip, and I believe he's trying to hang on to those as long as he can, just like we are, into the rain. Now, having the white tires, we should not have as much grip as he does, but his will start to fade and
Confirmed, we'll
degrade
receive you
sooner
at
than
the end
ours.
of this lap.
And that's enough for us on these hard tires. There's just enough rain. We don't see any tire spray yet. So right here we are coming in for a set of intermediates, and we're not going to change that at all, as it's not a lot of rain yet. I think if we could have hung on maybe 5 or 6 more laps, we would end up probably using the wets instead. But right now we're struggling with these hard tires in the rain drizzle period. So here we are. You can see that they're putting on a set of intermediates. And again, at this point, the track is just a little bit wet. Again, not a lot of tire spray from the cars. And from that vantage point, you can see just a little bit of spray. So right now we are happy to put on these intermediates instead of the wets. We had in the practice session tried on a set of the wets in light rain conditions like this, and believe it or not, they have so much less grip than the intermediates. So if we were out here in the full wets right now,
Richard is in the pit lane now.
it would actually be just as bad or even worse than driving around with a set of dry tires. So lap 30 now. Is this rain going to be getting heavier?
In front is 9.3 seconds.
Or is it going to be light like this and eventually fade? There is a Ferrari that just came out of the pits.
Car's gonna hit.
So Charles Leclerc got ahead of us, and you can see that Max Verstappen got ahead of us as well, changing on to intermediates. We're never very fast with the pit stops, and I guess that is something that we will have to address eventually in the season. Very close racing here with Charles Leclerc and the Ferrari. You can see here a bad exit coming out of turn 10. Almost lost it. And we had to brake hard just to avoid him. And he is very fast, so he may actually be running less swing, but not here in the flat. We do get around him for turn 3, and we slide out into the apron, avoiding the yellow curb on the outside. We're going to slow down, and you can see here that Charles Leclerc did get back around us. And you can see here now that there is a good dose of tire spray, and it's just not enough yet to come in to change into full wets. Which is good because we just changed into this set of intermediates. And I believe it was at Imola where we were actually able to run on the intermediates a lot longer than we had expected with the rain. So we're hoping that as we lap in this set of intermediates that they will be able to last just as long. But again, it will depend on how heavy the rain comes. If it does, on the inside of turn 3, we are able to squeeze out Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Turn 7. Again, turn 8. Now that it's a lot more slick with the rain, we're going to have to wait a little bit on the throttle towards the exit. Turn 10 and down the main straight, you can see that Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari is struggling with his car a little bit more than we are with the rain conditions. Very carefully through 6 and 7.
The rain's getting worse, be very careful.
In the dry conditions, we are running about a gear or 2 higher through those turns, so you can tell we're definitely going a little bit slower. Very wide at turn 9. Good control out of turn 10.
And gap to the car in front is 6.8 seconds.
So Max Verstappen about 7 seconds now ahead of us. And when Charles Leclerc came out of the pits, you saw that Max was coming out at the same time. So he did make up a lot of time here on both of us. And our plan now, as it's continuing on to rain, is to stay on this set of intermediates as long as we can, hopefully until the rain stops. Again, to lessen the number of times we will come in to change tires. Unless it starts to rain heavily. Back at Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, you can see the tire spray is increasing. Very wide coming out of turn 9. Maybe just driving a little bit too hard in these wet conditions. Again, we have to try to push these intermediates. There we are. Got another good look of the 66 just losing traction out of turn 3. So yellow flag on board with Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. There is a car just slowly exiting just ahead of us, and I believe that would be Max Verstappen, so he may have had a moment. And there we are, almost had a moment in turn 6, coming into turn 7. You can see that Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari was able to get around us. So
Come on, you can win that place back.
definitely the conditions are degrading, so, and that car ahead of both of us should be Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. Trying to get under Charles Leclerc into turn 1, and we do push him out, so job done.
Okay, gap ahead is 3.1 seconds.
Very wide on the exit of turn 3. We are riding on the very high curbs on the left apron, and that's going to slow down our exit. Charles Leclerc gets back around us, diving into turn 4. Just underneath Charles Leclerc. Is he able to come around? No. Perhaps if it was dry, he would have easily made his way around, as we had a very slow exit. So now looking back, that is a McLaren just behind us, and I believe that may be Daniel Ricciardo. Very slow out of turn 10. That is Leclerc just to our left. You can see there that he's still beside us. There's a big bump.
Okay, so the gap to the car behind is 10.5 seconds.
So there's a big bump and he's able to get around. And it's clear now that we are struggling on this set of intermediates. So the McLaren that had passed us was Lando Norris, and he did, I believe, unlap himself. Indicated by the timing on the upper left, you can see there that Daniel Ricciardo is actually behind Perez in the Red Bull. So they're quite a distance behind us. We continue to struggle here on lap 39 with this set of intermediates. You can see the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc is able to get away now. Again, another bad exit out of turn 10.
Our gap to the car in front is 3.6 seconds.
Looking at the damage or tire conditions here, you can see the tires are actually in still pretty good shape. We do notice that the left front wing is now yellow, indicating that there's some damage, and that may have occurred with our little nudge there from the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc just a lap or so ago. Very wide again. Through turn 3, the very slow corner. Thankfully, it's got a wide paved apron. And now, looking at the end flap for the front wing on the left there, you can see that there is a chunk taken out of it. And I believe that's what the damage is indicated for. And that is the time lost to Charles Leclerc.
Yellow flag.
Another yellow flag through turn 1. There is a car parked on the left.
Okay, clear.
Very big lock up there on all 4 tires. Coming into turn 3.
There's a new strategy available on the MFD.
So here the pit lane is calling for a tire change. And I go right in and change for a set of wets. I believe they were calling to come in and change for a set of intermediates, obviously,
Confirmed.
which would be pointless. So if we are going to change into a set of tires, it's going to be for the
Right,
wets.
let's have you in at the end of this lap, please.
So here we are. I signal the pit lane that I will come in to change into a set of wets. Hopefully that command went through or stuck, and we'll see in just a moment here if I did successfully change onto a set of wets instead of the proposed intermediates. And again, there's only about 11 to 15% wear on this set of intermediates, so there's no need to come in for a different set of intermediates. There is a set of blue tires, and those are the full wets. A little bit slow changing in. And you can see here that the McLaren and the Mercedes, as well as an Alpine, came in to change tires. That is a lot of tire spray now, and definitely calls for full wet tires. So that is the Mercedes of George Russell. I believe he is further back in the race, maybe trying to unlap himself. Very racy here with the Alpine as well. So I just came in and changed a set of tires, so I'm going to let them go and race with each other. No need to get a damaged car. And there you go. You can see that George Russell has another damaged front wing. Perhaps collision with the Alpine of Alonso just a couple of corners ago. And we saw that he did lose an end flap, so he should be coming in again. Back into the pits after just changing out of a set of tires. There he is. So timing indicates that we were racing with Russell and Alonso. And a new wing for George Russell. After just one lap.
Okay, gap to the car ahead is 2.2 seconds.
So lap 43, this race is going fast. We are in 6th place. We do have Fernando Alonso just ahead of us in 5th place. I believe that is 2.9 seconds just ahead, so not too far. Now, our experience with the wet tires here in the last rain races, including Imola, is that they will take about a lap and a half, sometimes 2.5 laps to warm up and become grippy. And once they do come into temperature, they are so much better to drive with than the intermediates.
Okay, you're doing well out there. Keep it up. We're looking at about 10 more minutes of rain. 10 minutes.
So lap 44, they call that the rain should stop in about 10 minutes. And each lap is about a minute and 10 seconds or so. So again, this is going to take us 10 laps. So we're looking at lap 54 when we can start to consider changing out of these wet
It's
tires.
still not a perfect situation, but I don't think we've got cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
So lap 54 of 71 is a 16 lap difference. If it does happen that way, that we have to change out of these at lap 54, a set of red tires is not going to be, well, it's not going to last enough to finish the race. If we do finish the race on a set of red tires for 16 laps, they will be very warm. So at this point in the race, lap 44, we are hoping that it does rain a little bit longer. I believe the optimum number of laps on a set of red tires on this track, as it's dry, should be about 12 or 14 laps. And that will mean that hopefully we can come in and change out at lap 57 or 58. And in fact, if the track does dry out a little bit sooner, we will try to stay on this set of tires. Obviously, if the rain stops at lap 54, the track is not going to be dry at lap 54. So right now we're looking at about lap 56 that we may possibly have to endure these tires. We will struggle and start losing places in the race if we try to stretch it out to lap 58, but let's see when we get there. So this is Perez just behind us in the Red Bull, and I believe we are racing with him at this point. Still a lot of tire spray. And again, as we just said, we're hoping for a little bit longer of a rain period here, just to get the most out of this set of rain tires. There we are. We have to give in to Perez here. We are racing with him, but again, we have a target for these tires, and obviously if we incur any damage and have to come in, that's definitely going to ruin our strategy for the race. We have a pretty good strategy so far to finish the race. So we're just going to let him go. Looking on from the helicopter, you can see that the tire spray is still pretty strong. Lap 46 of 71, we are about a half a second behind Sergio Perez in the rain. There we are, coming into turn one. You can hear that the tires were locking up. Still not a lot of grip. Very cautiously through turn 6 and turn 7. Again.
Okay, we've got plenty of energy. Use the overtake button.
A lot of gear down.
Come on, you can do this.
From the dry conditions. Lots of traction coming out of turn 10, so it is still very slippery.
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Well done.
Big lockups there. Not able to slow the car down enough through turn 3. On the apron and over the curb. That is Sergio Perez getting away. He's a couple of seconds ahead of us now in the rain. So lap 48 of 71, having a look at the wear and damage indicator on the right
Okay, gap ahead is 2.9 seconds.
lower right corner of the screen. You can see there that there is wear up to 17% and 18% in the wet tires. You can see that we also have damage on our front left wing, as well as yellow light indicated there for our transmission or transfer case. So again, another slow lap on lap 49 of 71. You can see we're 2.5 seconds behind our fastest lap in the dry. So the wet
coming in for inters. It's touch and go, but could be worth a risk. We'll be ready for it if you want a box.
The wet conditions are definitely slowing us down. And now we got a call from the pit box that cars are changing into intermediate tires. Again, that is actually contrary to our race strategy, so we can't plan on changing out of these tires until we change into dry tires. So a lot of life still left in this set of wet tires. You can see there that the rear is only 17% worn and so on, with the front 20 and 18. So even if it does
Now gap to the car in front is 5.5 seconds.
become a dry track, I believe we'll be able to survive a couple of laps in the dry. Again, we will be a little bit slower, but we'll be avoiding losing time just coming in and changing out of intermediates, or changing into intermediates, knowing that the race will fully dry by the end.
Issue with our ERS.
So at this point, the issue with the ERS is that
lost
we're
some time to the car behind.
actually not able to control it. We do have a good reserve, or the energy storage is actually pretty good. The steering wheel indicates that it is running because our option here is to disable it. However,
Can't disable ERS.
in actuality, it is actually not on, and that's why it's able to restore or recover energy. And at this point, it's totally fine, as we are not directly racing with anybody. but we are losing time to
It looks like we're running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly.
The
okay,
leaders
touch
here.
wood, it seems like the fault has resolved itself.
So hopefully it will come on. There you go, the light is off. So now we should be able to control it. Looking at the timing, it looks like Sergio Perez did come in and change out of his full wets, getting ready for a drying race. Alonso's still ahead by about 5 seconds. Very slow through turn 1.
Okay, let's go.
Now there is kind of a drying line on the track, so if it continues to rain, it may be a little bit less than it was raining before. So still a lot of tire spray, so we're good on these tires for now. Looking
Okay,
at
you've lost access to one of the gears. We've lost one of the gears due to a fault in the gearbox.
the laps on the steering wheel. This is lap 53. Again, our target was lap 54 for when the rain was going to stop, and it is slowing down now. So another challenge here. We've lost another gear, and I believe, let's see which one it's going to be.
Manage your tyres.
Fourth gear. So we've lost fourth gear coming into turn 3. Earlier was second gear, and when we started the race, there was actually a lot of life left in this transmission. I believe it's our third one. So right now we are experiencing a lot of faults with it, and we may be changing out of this after this race into the fourth transmission for the season. There we are. You can definitely tell that we have lost a gear. And looking onto the track, again, there is a drying line. There is still tire spray, so right now the wets are still pretty good. We are not getting any temperature indicators or warnings right now, so they're still working just fine in the wets. So looking right behind, you can see that Sergio Perez, after changing out of his intermediates, is able to come and catch right back up to us. We are losing a lot of time on this set of wets, I guess. There we are. You can have a direct look at his car, see that he's got the green striped tires, which are the intermediates, and he's definitely faster and racier. Here he comes, hopefully no bumping or nudging. We're gonna let him through. Again, our target for this set of wets is to go hopefully into lap 56
Check
or
your
58.
MFD for a new strategy option.
And now the
Okay, so the gap to the car behind is 6.6 seconds.
so the pit lane is now proposing a new strategy, and that is to change out of these tires. And we are going to decline and resist, because if we come in for intermediates now and the track does dry up, the intermediates will be on for maybe 5 or 6 until we have enough race in a set of red tires to finish the race, which would mean that we're going to be losing a lot of time.
In the pit lane now.
So Perez again getting ahead of us. Alonso still way ahead now.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Lap 55 of 71, we are resisting the new strategy. So there is a countdown timer. I believe it may be 49 or 59 seconds to respond. And you can decline right away or just let that time expire, in which case they will not change on to the new strategy. However, you always check your strategy before you come into the pits in case there's any miscommunications, to make sure that when you do come in that they put on the right tires. And we had this occasion a couple of times for the first two races where we didn't check and we just assumed that they were going to put on the right tires, and they put on the wrong tires. So always check before you come in. Again, the loud sounds of screeching tires coming into turn one as we struggle to stop the car for the very sharp corner. Continuing on the set of wet tires, you can see there's still decent tire spray. Again, they're not becoming overheated. And we just need a couple of more laps on this set, just to avoid coming in to change out again.
No rain expected for the time being. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
So there we are. I called out to the pit box. It looks like it has stopped raining, and I called in to make sure that it has stopped or that we're not getting any more after this. I believe if we were expecting more or expecting the rain to continue on, I may...
The turbocharger's on its last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum. Check
we may consider changing into intermediates. And now the turbocharger is going. So this race is proposing a lot of challenges here. There is the timing. In lap 57 of 71, we are in 6th place, 9 seconds behind Sergio Perez, who did come around us, so he's definitely going faster than we are on his set of intermediates. And hopefully we can make that up by not coming in to change out of this set too soon. If we don't change into a set of intermediates, when he does come in to change, he will lose all of that time. But again, we will only know as the race progresses. It will stop raining. We don't know if we're going to finish with a dry race, meaning that the track is fully dry. But we will know here in just a couple of laps. We are now on lap 58. We're actually open
to... gap ahead is 10.1 seconds.
Changing out of these wet tires now, as they had served their purpose.
There's a new strategy available on the MFD.
We are still waiting for the track to dry up just a little bit more, so that when we put on our dry tires, which is going to be a set of soft tires, the red stripe tires, we should be able to get around with a dry track and hopefully make up a lot of time. But all of this time that we're losing now, hopefully we are
check your MFD for a
going
new
to
strategy
regain
option.
It when the other cars come in and change into dry tires. That is Daniel Ricciardo also on a set of intermediates as he gets by. Perez now 12 seconds ahead, so we're definitely losing a lot of time. And I believe we're going to go just one more lap to see if this track is drying.
We're catching the car ahead. Well done, but be aware these tyres need to get us to the end of this race.
Again, the pit box is proposing a change in tires, and I believe they are still proposing the intermediates. So, no noticeable tire spray. I believe this is the chance.
There's a new strategy available on the MFD.
That is Fernando Alonso, who was ahead of us before when he came in to change into a set of intermediates. He definitely lost that much time to us, so he just got back around. There we are, checking the pit strategy. We will make sure that we're coming in for a set
The
of
car behind is lapping faster than us by around a second
soft
a lap.
red tires.
Our gap to the car in front is 1.8 seconds. Copy.
So
Okay,
we
we
are
can take
calling
you
into
this
the pit
lap.
lane. We are coming in for our soft red tires. There is no more tire spray from the rain. Very dry track now. And you can see there are a couple of other cars just ahead of us coming in. Couldn't quite tell who they were. I believe that is the Alpine that just passed us. And I couldn't quite tell what they put on. There we are, our set of soft tires. So now lap 60 of 71, we should be able to finish the race on this set of tires, which is exactly what we are targeting. And now a dry track. So let's see if we can make a race of it.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
We do still have concern about the turbocharger and the gearbox. You can see there that it is very worn. Our other concern is the front wing.
Rear diffuser's got some damage. It's definitely going to feel the effects from here on out, I'm afraid.
How badly damaged it is, how much downforce we're losing, which was not as important in the rain as we couldn't make use of all the downforce available. But now that we are on a set of soft tires and a dry track, we're trying to get as much as we can out of the tires in the car. And now we also have a call from the pit lane that the diffuser is also damaged, so that
Car
indicates
ahead's coming to fit the mediums. Car ahead now running medium tyres.
that we will definitely have less downforce. But lap 61 of 71, we are in 7th place. Still a points paying finish. It's been a difficult race with the rain and strategy, and the car simply just falling apart while we're in the race. I believe we've had every kind of imaginable damage or breakdown occurring on the car. At least nothing has fallen off. So exiting turn 10 in 7th place, that is a Alfa Romeo just behind us. And you can see there that there is a Mercedes behind him. And you can see that the blue flag or the blue lights and the light boxes are flashing. So I believe that Mercedes will be the car in first place, and he is coming around to lap the Alfa Romeo as well as the number 66. Just in front of him, there we go. The Alfa Romeo has to let him by. And I think that should be Lewis Hamilton, as George Russell has had so many difficulties in the race. Came in a couple of times to change out of the wing. And yes, that is Lewis Hamilton. And we will be receiving the blue flag anytime now to let him by. looking at the timing, we are racing that Alfa Romeo just behind us. We had been able to create a little space with Lewis Hamilton coming around. So we're going to wait for the right moment just to let him by, because we don't want that Alfa Romeo to get a chance. We got to pinch him off right here. And no, it did not work. So that is Guan Yu Zhou in the Alfa Romeo. And we are racing with him. So we've got our ERS and our DRS coming into turn 4. So we've got less than 7 laps to get around him. Very good exit there out of turn 8. Again, you've got to put on just 1 or 2 notches under your rear wing so you can accelerate out. We get a good jump on the Alfa Romeo. We are on the inside in turn 1. He's still beside us. A little bump there, you heard that. But he's going to give in, and we are ahead.
Okay, expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now.
And obviously we're not going to worry about that rain. It will not get here in time for the finish of the race. So back in 7th place, we have Daniel Ricciardo just behind us. Fernando Alonso 13 seconds ahead. So at the end of the race here, he did have a very fast car. And I believe that he may have had a lot of wing on that car. But now as the car is lighter, he's able to do more with it. So if you remember, he did come in and change into the dry tires at the same time we did. He was about maybe 5 or seconds ahead, but he was still in the pits when we came in. So at one point we were very close, but now he's absolutely just taken off. The sun is out, the track is dry, and we've got our dry tires. Just trying to finish this race. We do have a points finish that we're expecting, unless something else breaks on the car. Coming out of turn 10 down the main straight. We don't have anyone ahead of us to activate our DRS.
Increasing the gap on the car behind by 0.5 a lap.
That car just ahead of us is the car of Lewis Hamilton, who has lapped us. So he is the leader of the race. Still a loss of traction coming out of turn 3. Starting on the curbs on the exit of turn 1. Turn 2.
Okay, gap ahead is 11.4 seconds.
Well, we are making time on Fernando Alonso. Definitely not going to be enough. There's just under 4 laps to go. That is Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren just behind us. Very racy now at the end of the race with a set of dry tires. Very close behind is Daniel Ricciardo as we look on from his T-cam. That is the 66 just ahead. So it looks like the 66 has a good exit out of turn 10. Coming in through turn 1. Again, still losing traction. I believe the rear tire was over the curb. Nearing the end of the race, we still have our transmission intact and we have all of our gears. The turbo is losing power. We have our under tray, or the rear diffuser, is damaged. Our front wing is damaged. And at least our ERS is back to working condition. And as you can see, it's a sunny, dry race for the remainder of the race.
Five laps, I only need 2 more.
Lap 70 of 71. That is Lewis Hamilton ahead of us, so this should be our last lap. And you can see there on the
We
steering
think we
wheel
might see some rain. ETA about 15 minutes.
that we have 3.7 laps of surplus fuel. And again, that is about 0.6 of a second per lap that we are losing. For each time we come around the track. So that is something that we didn't plan for. We were expecting the rain. And I believe we should have been under-fueling the car to start, but we had no idea how long the rain was going to be. And that is kind of the chance that you take. It's possible that our car, there's the checkered flag for Lewis Hamilton as we go right behind, and that is the end of the race.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So it's possible that if we had less fuel, that we may have been able to go around the track faster.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Austria. And a truly magnificent drive to hang on and take the win. Tell me, Ant, how do they manage to achieve this win?
I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on track was: speed. I know it sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Well, there was a lot of incredible driving out there today, but if I had to pick someone, it's got to be Sergio Perez. Fantastic driving.
Let's move on to the constructors. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Thanks for watching this race at Driving Immersion if you've made it this far. If you like the race, don't forget to give us a like or a thumbs up, and consider subscribing for more racing ahead. As always, we welcome any advice on the race or our programming, so feel free to post a comment below. The next race is in France at the Circuit Paul Ricard. Don't miss it.